I'm really stepping up my thumbnail game, so hold on, let me take a little selfie. Whatever, it's good enough.
Brought to you by Top Deck Cards and Games. Be sure to like them on Facebook and check them out at topdeckcardsandgames.net.
Galaxy Cyclone. It's a normal spell card. You can only use the second effect of Galaxy Cyclone once per turn. First effect is target one set spell or trap card on the field, destroy it. And the second one is during your main phase, you accept the turn this card was sent to the graveyard. You can banish this card from your graveyard, and then target one face up spell or trap card on the field and destroy it. Now, a lot of people are speculating that this card alone is a replacement for Nyhmnim. Nyhmnim is outdated, people are saying, or it's a replacement for MST, and that's actually a worse argument. Something I want to address today is card utility, and this card has different utility than Nyhmnim and Mystical Space Typhoon, which is why it can't replace either of them. Now, the card is good. I'm not going to sit here and exactly argue why it's good. I'm just going to tell you why it can't replace these other cards, because it has a different use thing. So why can't this card exactly replace Mystical Space Typhoon, or why can't it replace Nyhmnim? Well, let's talk about the utility Mystical Space Typhoon and Nyhmnim have. Nyhmnim is a card where you can target one set spell or trap card your opponent controls, destroy it, and they cannot chain to the activation of that card. They cannot chain the targeted card. Nyhmnim has the utility of just clearing back row by making blind spacing an actual thing, pretty much. You don't have to exactly worry if that face down card is a Phoenix Wing Windblast, or if it is a Fire Lake, or if it is a Mystical Space Typhoon, or say, if it chains, they can't do it. So Nyhmnim has the job of clearing threats that you can't exactly read and are unsure of, but you want to make sure they can't do anything about. Mystical Space Typhoon has the utility of being a quick play spell card, which is very unique compared to Nyhmnim, compared to Galaxy Cyclone. Being a quick play spell card, you are able to chain the card successfully, and you're able to activate it on your opponent's turn, which again is a very important aspect of the card. You're able to stop your opponent from activating Pendulum Monster effects, like Scout or something. Also, you're able to break scales on your opponent's turn, something that Nyhmnim, being only able to target set spell card cards, and Galaxy Cyclone, being able only to activate on your turn, can't do. MST has the utility of activating on your opponent's turn. That's one of the most unique things about the card, and that's one of the things that gives the card its use. Now let's talk about Galaxy Cyclone. Galaxy Cyclone has the charm of being able to activate it twice, essentially. The first one being a blind MST on your turn, and the second one essentially being a reusable effect to hit cards that are face up on your turn. Floodgates, pendulum zones, you name it. Now let me ask you, did any of those three utility effects seem similar at all? I guess you could argue Galaxy Cyclone and Nyhmnim, but Nyhmnim has the utility of ensuring they can't activate that card. Galaxy Cyclone doesn't do that. Galaxy Cyclone is unique because you're able to activate it from your graveyard, as well as you're able to activate it as a regular spell card. Nyhmnim is unique because your opponent can't chain to it. They're two different things. So if we were to look at both cards and we were determining the format we're in now, for example, with Burning Abyss, if they play traps anymore, they could play a lot of chainable traps in the form of Karma Cut, in the form of Phoenix Wing Windblast. Now, Galaxy Cyclone isn't as good as Nyhmnim in that situation, because Nyhmnim just says you can't chain that Phoenix Wing Windblast, you can't chain that Karma Cut, you can't chain that Fire Lake, while Galaxy Cyclone gives them the opportunity to. So the playability and the determination of how good the card is dependent on the format, pretty much. You could say it's better than Nyhmnim, you could say Nyhmnim is just better right now. It all depends. Does this card alone make Nyhmnim outdated? No. Nyhmnim has a different use. Now, in a deck that would mill a lot, such as Lightsworn, Burning Abyss, arguably, and Infernoids is also a very good example, this card might very well be better in Mystical Space Typhoon in that manner. The fact that it has the graveyard accessibility to hit floodgates and everything, something that Mystical Space Typhoon does on its own as well, by the way, makes the card very powerful. However, does it replace MST in general as a card? No. Different decks can utilize the card better than other decks. If I had the chance to play either Galaxy Cyclone or Mystical Space Typhoon in Shaddolls, for example, I probably would pick Mystical Space Typhoon over Galaxy Cyclone, because I don't mill anything. However, if we were to determine a deck like Infernoids, we could pick between Mystical Space Typhoon and Galaxy Cyclone. I would probably pick Galaxy Cyclone. Being the fact that I have a very minimal amount of targets with reasoning and everything, I'm going to mill through half my deck, and I'll be able to activate that Galaxy Cyclone in graveyard, making it still a usable card in the deck. Whereas Mystical Space Typhoon, if you were to mill that shit, it's just like, well, damn. So in summary, just because a card may do something better than another card, at the moment, it doesn't change the fact that it has different utility than that other card. That sounds really confusing, but essentially what I'm saying is not all cards are comparable. That's pretty much it. If you guys liked the video, be sure to like the video, thumbs up the video, have everyone express that you enjoyed the video. However, as always, thank you for watching, guys. Nyhmnim out.